The mysteries of the deep of the plastic blue bins at Goodwill. I got a whole box full of treasures.
You want like a new character? Yeah, I'll come with it.
So I just got yelled at because it's one person per bin, but no one else seems to follow that rule. But you know, I get yelled at for it.
Good and quiet.
Yeah, I hear you.
This bin had a whole mishmash of stuff. I thought this was a vintage cap. It's the Philly Fanatic, but it's actually from 2017. It was for his birthday, and they don't sell for that much online, so I passed. Doll, not creepy enough for me, so she stayed in the bin too. Really have to dig. There's even a skateboard. And when I dig through these bins, I'm trying to not break anything, move things so they're in piles. I found this big book. It turned out to be a dictionary. I'm sure many of those words we don't use today, and there's new words that we have that aren't in there, so that went in my cart. Backstreet Boys stayed in the bin, though. There were an assortment of books. Great if you have, children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, and you want to gift them a book. I mean, it's cheap. It's at the bin. If it's in good condition, why not? Kept digging, trying to make some room, get that big box out of the way. It was empty. We have some other books. Probably should have taken a better look at the books more than I did. Gene Autry and the Redwoods, I believe. Then I found this guy. Another hardback, The History of the Rod. Who would have thought? So I took a look inside, seemed interesting, and then I did take a gander online, and it actually does fairly well. This box was filled with all sorts of little cups and saucers. Those just don't sell for me at the flea market. I mean, granted, I probably could have bought a few and sold them for $1 a piece, but it could have taken some time. They're just not sellers anymore. Perhaps eventually they'll have their time in the sun again at the flea market. Get more boxes, bags of stuff. You got to really look through everything to make sure you're not missing. Unwrap some newspapers, some bags. And heck, if you forgot a bag and you need one, you can buy one at the bin. This was filled with games. I had seen some of the regulars at the bins go through this already, so I wasn't expecting to find anything great. I did find this, the Hangman game, which I actually remember playing. That's so 80s on the cover. And then there was, where is it? A Mall Madness. Now, the Mall Madness, the original one from the 80s, does much better. This was from the 90s. And so I passed on that. If it would have been the 80s version, it would have went in my cart. Need some salt and pepper shakers. I was looking through this, hoping to find some figural, some great souvenir pieces, but there really weren't any. That green one was rather nice, but I don't believe it had the match to it. So I left that there. Again, moving boxes, bins, just to see what is underneath in the blue plastic sea. Scissors. I took one of the baskets that had an assortment of items and I just put it in my cart, and then before I was ready to leave is when I went through it. It's much easier just to put it in the cart and sift through it later than try and sift through it when it's still in the bin and you have people looking around you at the bin. Even though apparently it was one person per bin, though no one was following that, and I was the only one that got yelled at by another bin goer for it. Meanwhile, everyone would come up to my bin, but oh well. This just had a lot of glassware, dollar store candle holders, clock, which I did not get, and some ashtrays. Again, just things that just don't sell. Like, I'm not going to buy those and bring them to the flea market because it would be a waste of space in my car for a dollar store candle holder. Perhaps if they would have been some great brand, then possibly, but they weren't, so they stayed back in the bins. I did pick up some vintage items. You have the Raggedy Ann and Andy, and then this cool shirt, which I will keep for myself because I think I can wear it. This trip was actually my round 2 from my previous trip to the Goodwill bins. I ventured out and then I came back after they did their rotation. I had to wait in line. You had your regulars, you know, already lined up, ready to go in there and see what new stuff was in the bins. I was actually yelled at here. I had an idea that it was 1 bin per person. I think maybe someone may have told me that, so I tried to go to bins and didn't have anyone in there. But on my trip there that morning, you know, you see 3 people out of bin, 2 people out of bin. So I think I went to 1 bin. I was on the other side and there was a woman and she yelled, it's one bin per person. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm sorry. So I move over to another bin and this person just comes up, stands right by me and starts digging. It's like, what? Are there rules or aren't there rules? And who do the rules apply to and who do the rules not apply to? So if you're venturing off to your Goodwill bins, then be sure to follow the rules. Because if you are a newbie to those bins and they're irregulars, you want to, you know, be on their good side because that's their hunting ground. And if you want to make that your hunting ground, then just be nice and follow rules. So what did I find today? I found some interesting things. Again, it did look like someone took their antique booth from an antique mall and kind of just donated it all. I didn't go towards the clothes first because the majority of the people in the beginning of the line were all vintage clothing people. So they, you know, went to the bins, found what they were looking for, and then left. I kind of looked over what they left behind. But I did find some good things. We'll start off with the item that could pay for everything that I purchased. Many people have commented this, and I always like to do that. If you're out thrifting, going to yard sales, auctions, estate sales, if you can find one item that will cover all of your costs plus profit, then you are good to go. Unless, of course, you're buying for yourself. But then if you're buying for yourself and you find one item that you can resell, then, you know, you're really in the money. So, first things first, the history of the rod, flagellation and the flagellants. A book about whipping. From the earliest period to the present time with numerous illustrations. All right. Are any of these appropriate to show? So this book published, does it even have a date? I'm not sure, but it is, you know, a vintage or antiquarian book, which there are people out there that love books and they love to collect them, whether it is an array of subjects or just a niche subject. I looked this book up and I believe it sells anywhere between $30 to $50 and it has sold for that amount. Probably a very interesting read. Oh, let the patient, this is from a doctor in Iceland, let the patient allow himself to be sewn up in a sack stuffed with wool and then be dragged about, rolled down the hill, thumped, kicked, and jumped upon by his friends and acquaintances. When he has emerged from the sack, let him take a draught to open his pores and then go to bed. The remedy was tried and succeeded. Well, hey. So, a book about the history of the rod. That'll pay for my Goodwill trip. That was 50 cents. Hardbacks were 50 and softcover were a quarter. I think that's what it was. This is just a dictionary. It was $30. I bought this. I do enjoy old dictionaries. I'm sure a lot of these words, a lot of the new words we have today definitely aren't in here, but these are fun for junk journalists. And then it's really nice, I find, when they do have the color plates in them for illustrations. Oh, I spent, I think it was $9 in total. So, few items for myself. This is a Boston Traders shirt. I didn't look this up. I have no idea. It's made in the Taiwan ROC, Republic of China. a nice, oh my gosh, it has shoulder pads. It does. I didn't even know that. These will most likely come out. So it's just, you know, a button up kind of flannel like shirt. I will use this for the flea market. I do enjoy layering and I like the pattern. I'm gonna go with my new haircut. I'm sure you all noticed. Yes, I went back to the short hair. I didn't mind so much growing my hair out. I just do not like my hair long. And it wasn't even that long, but I feel more like myself with this hairstyle, and it's a lot easier to do. Much easier. Spend less than a minute drying it, if that. I did find one vintage tee. It is a Champion shirt. It's from the Abilene Christian Phys Ed Department, Christian University, Bible, Arts, Science, and Literature. So this should fit me. Always like a good vintage tee. I did notice, because I didn't do the armpit check until later, there is a little hole in the armpit. So some sewing will fix this right up. Housewares and, you know, clothing are $1.49 a pound, I think. $1.49 or $1.69. I did buy some linens. This is Raggedy Ann and Andy, and they are rather nice. I think they're curtain panels in really nice shape, great color still. I don't think there's any staining, so I will have to launder these, and then I figured these might be good on Etsy. People could probably make masks out of these, or, you know, Raggedy Ann and Andy, they're classics. So I'm sure people can do all sorts of things with these fabric, but I think I took all of them that were there. We picked up Mickey. It's made to look old, but it is 2009. So not an old Mickey, but still cute. We have a John Wanamaker classic store. I don't think these belong in the box, but they're already in the box. Made in Western Germany. You have a little angel. They're probably, I'm thinking, this used to be a trio. This one's lighting a candle, and this one is by a wreath, somewhat like offering a prayer. But they were both in the John Wanamaker box, so let's just keep them in there. I did find some other interesting religious items, which I really liked finding. What I ended up doing is there were two boxes just of stuff, and the one box was still had things wrapped in it. So instead of going through the box in the bin, I just put the box in my cart, because at that point someone else had come up and started going through the bin. You know, again, who does this one person, one bin rule apply to? I'm not sure, but he just came up, started going through stuff. So I thought, I'm not wasting my time digging through this now. Put it in my cart and I'll look later. I found this piece. It has Germany on the back with a number, and also the maker's mark, if you can see that. Place to hang it. So this could be for plants, holy water, you know, whatever you want to put in there. But very pretty, reminds you of Jerusalem. You have the angel. This I thought was really lovely. So I picked up another religious piece. We have the Virgin Mary holding a crucifix. Really nice light colors with the pinks and the greens, and then you have just a little bit of gold. Really nice piece to hang on your wall. Your religious art, religious pieces, they do fairly well because people buy them for a variety of reasons. They buy them whether they are religious or not, because they like the image, they like the feel of it, and they like how they feel when they view the image. Many people collect it for the art that it is, because it actually is a work of art, especially some of the antique religious items. I also purchased this, my last purchase. This is a hand-painted touch wood tile. It was made in Israel. And this is of the Wailing Wall and the men offering up their prayers. I really don't find a lot of Judaica items out there, so it was fun to find this at the bins. What the market is for Judaica, I'm not sure because I don't find it that often. I don't sell it that much. But I think this would be good for, you know, the flea market. I haven't looked online to see if this is something that's worth a lot on there. It could be worth $20, $30. I don't know. It could be worth $5. But again, another nice piece brought, I'm thinking, you know, bought in Israel. So I thought this was a nice find. And that's it for the bins. So the book about the history of the rod. There were a few books about torture there. I probably should have looked at more of them because it is such a, I don't want to say obscure topic, but a very niche topic because not everyone's gonna, you know, you're not going to waltz into Barnes and Nobles and think, hey, let me find, you know, books about the history of torture. So another niche market, and because it's a niche market, there are collectors, and that's most likely why that book is worth, you know, a decent amount. So I probably should have looked at some of the books, other books. You know, when you are at the bins and you are filming for a video, your mind is focused on kind of two things. One, you want to make sure that you're capturing what you are going through in case you find something amazing, you want that on film. And two, you're also trying to be mindful of what you're looking at and whether or not it is in your wheelhouse to resell. Oftentimes what I do is I film a little bit, turn off the camera, stick it in my pocket or my bag, and then I just look and I take my time in the bin so that I can focus on finding neat items. And then what I do, camera comes back out, boom, look at this great thing that I found. But the mind, when you are out thrifting, even garbage picking, going to auctions, estate sales, you know, you do need that focus. And if you are filming, there's that extra level of, you know, stuff that you have to be mindful of. The life of a YouTuber. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this trip to the bins. I hope to go to a different bin soon. It is just fun seeing what lies in that blue plastic bin. And I think seeing what people find in the bins and what their niches as well. You can easily see that by looking in their carts, whether it's clothes, books, little knick-knack items, or just a plethora of things that they can either use for themselves, for their family, or that they can resell. It runs the gamut at these thrift stores. You know, you never know what people are out there for, whether it's fun, pleasure, or profit. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. If you did, be sure to check out some of my other thrifting videos. I have a playlist of all of my thrifting days, so you can go check those out and see what treasures I found along the way. Hope you have a great day. If you're out there looking for your treasure, I hope that you find it. I'll see you all next time.